Then I'm going to copy my YouTube link and put it back in my meeting. This could take a little bit of time. Usually it's pretty quick. I've got some decent bandwidth, but don't worry if it takes about a minute. So that takes me right to YouTube. Then I'm going to copy my YouTube link. Excuse my voice twice. I'm going to go up top to this YouTube link, copy it out of the browser, go back to my meeting, paste it in. Now I've got more video options. I've got a couple more things here. I can hide the live stream until the event start time. That means the public's not going to see my meeting or event until 3 o'clock on the dot or whenever I scheduled it for. If I know I'm going to want to edit this meeting, maybe I started my stream a little early. Maybe there was some chit chat that I want to cut out while we were all getting settled. That's fine. Then I can turn on hide meeting video after events end, go edit it, and then come back and uncheck that. It's going to show it to the public as a record of your meeting afterwards. We do have closed captioning. I believe that just works with the public input stream, but I'm going to give it a go just to see what happens.
That would be very valuable to us if it has closed captioning.
If so, we may just need to pivot to using public inputs YouTube stream, but I absolutely understand the value of having your own YouTube channel. We may be rolling out some more of that. I know it's in beta testing right now. We should have an update on closed captioning coming out very soon. But you guys can now see that I'm live streaming right here on publicinput.com. I've got several other options. The one thing I forgot to do, I told you guys, whoops, was I did not enable text. So you can also click the phone. We've got phone and voicemail ready to go, but you want to turn on text. If I had text questions, like questions I did on the page in survey, those would turn into text compatible questions here. I don't have to create them twice. It turns my whole survey that I created into a text survey, but enabling SMS here also enables me to turn on text for the meeting. So if I refresh, oh, I think I actually have to go in and edit that meeting one more time, sorry. Click this, more display options, and ooh, I think I hit it for myself, excuse me. Well, that didn't refresh. Try one more time. Moving too fast for myself, sorry.
So going live like this, do you typically, like if our event's 2 weeks out, do you go live 2 weeks out and it's just not visible until the time of the event? Or do you do something like day of? Maybe Lonnie may be getting what you're doing. I guess I'm not tracking it as much. Okay.
Yeah,
So I get what's happening. It's just normally we would go live on YouTube right as broadcast was starting.
Right.
So now it's like we're going to have sort of a garbage YouTube broadcast, but then the actual page on Project Connect will look clean because it won't start until the actual broadcast time.
Got it.
Right. And so what we actually do, we have it going out unlisted. So it's not going to be searchable on your channel because what you want is people to be able to come here and view all the comments if there's comments. We hope they're not leaving comments on YouTube. If they are, we can pull those in. I would then come here, connect this to Zoom right before I'm ready. And so when you're talking about when you are setting everything up, you're going to create your meeting. You can create it a month out, 2 weeks out. Go ahead and put your Zoom info in and create your Zoom meeting. And that way, when you start your Zoom meeting, you start your Zoom meeting first, you get all of your presenters, panelists, whoever is in there, and you don't share it with the public. You share the public input page link with the public. In this case, it is J476. Again, you could create a custom link that says publicinput.com/special blue line meeting or whatever you want to set up there. Or we can do that domain masking option that should fix things up for you guys as well. And then I would just come and connect my Zoom right before I'm ready. And then I would start my stream once my Zoom meeting is ready to go. So you can start it 5 minutes, 10 minutes before you're ready to go. The closer to when you're ready to start, the less you have to edit. The one downside of using public inputs YouTube page is we generally don't trim out any of the lull in the beginning if you take a while to get started. If you're broadcasting to your own YouTube page, you can trim and edit that video as you like. And usually that YouTube link stays the same. It's still going to be the same YouTube link record for you.
Yeah, so for Jamila, Crystal, and Dennis, we were just we wouldn't start broadcasting to YouTube until we have like a main slide up, you know,
Right.
when we're ready to roll. And so even though YouTube might have that for a minute or two, this page will, you know, if we just set it so that all of our meetings start 3 minutes after the scheduled time, then we should be okay with it looking clean at the beginning.
So now
It's
I've
just
got
one
my,
extra thing. It's just one extra connection when the meeting starts. That's all.
yep. So now I've got my phone bridge connected. If anybody wants to look, you can see this 512 number in the Zoom meeting. It's one of the participants. It's probably muted. Let's see. Nope, it's not muted, which is great. If it was muted, I could press *6 to unmute it. But because it's connected and unmuted, it's now giving us a full transcription of everything we're saying in the meeting, as well as anyone who calls in. There'll be a little button that says tap to speak that we can manage right here. And we'll be able to let them speak. It's going to record them talking in the meeting. It's just like they're on a party line. Everybody's muted unless you let them speak. And then once they speak, once you end this speaking session here, it's going to give you a transcript of what they said. You'll also have a transcript of anybody who called before the meeting or during the meeting, didn't want to talk to you, but left a recorded comment or a voicemail. So that will be available here, and you can choose to play it back during your meeting if you would like.
Where are you managing the texts and phone calls during the meeting?
I'm sorry, it was a little quiet. Where are we managing text?
Yeah, where are we managing the text and phone calls during the meeting?
Sure. So your phone calls are right here on your live meeting, on your live meeting right under it. Again, within 30 minutes of your meeting. So if this meeting starts at 3, at 2:30, I can see this panel open up. I'm going to see callers coming in. If they're requesting to speak, I'm going to see tap to speak right here. If I've not given them that option, they're at least going to be able to listen to the meeting on the line, which is great for people who, again, don't have home computers or aren't able to make it into your meeting, things like that. We can pop open the meeting editor. And if I decided to, where is it? Whoop, comment options. So we've got display options, text is enabled. I could turn this on and do display SMS responses publicly. That would then put it right here so that if I text it in right now, any of you can try it if you like, J476 to the number 512-580-8850. It'll show up over here. And so I can choose to manage it that way. Otherwise, you could reply to it after the fact, or you could have somebody who has the comments tab open on your meeting.
And is it a unique number for every
And
meeting?
those are going to be here. No, it is a unique PIN number for every project. Usually you have one phone number for the account, but you can buy several phone numbers. You can also purchase a PIN-free number, and that's going to say there's no code, but you can only assign it to one meeting. So if you know you just want to have a line that people can listen on, they can also speak on it if you want to do that. But they'd be able to just call directly and automatically be listening to the meeting without hearing the prompt to say, press 1 to listen, press 2 to leave a recorded comment, press 3 to
And we get the phone number right when we set up the meeting. It's not just 30 minutes beforehand that we know the number, right?
And are you guys based out of Austin?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I wanted to make sure. I think that 512 is an Austin number, but I just wanted to make sure that works for you guys.
Yep.
If we need to add more phone numbers, you can reach out. I think the cost is around $400 or $500 for the year. But especially if you want a PIN-free number, we can do that, or a toll-free number. But yeah, it should be assigned. You should be able to see it on your phone tab. If I click phone number, you guys have just the one phone number.
That's good.
Yeah. And we do have a text number. I think it's like 7224 or 7422 something. If you want that shortened number that's just like a text in phone number, we could assign that to you as well. I don't think there's an extra charge, but don't quote me on that. All right, I'm seeing some chats. Let me see.
Yeah. I think Kent was wanting to show the phone call in.
Yes. I'm
option.
sorry. Let me close this chat again. I have far too many windows open. Here we are. Live meeting. Kent, this is you. Do you want to press *3? Oh, he left. Just a quick FYI too, if ever you see this saying connecting or spinning around, that spinning around is happening every time the meeting prompts are being read aloud to the individual. So it's saying in menu, that means Kent's on the line. It's telling him, welcome to the meeting. It's going to read this meeting title and project title verbatim. And then it's going to say all the instructions. Press one for more, press star for more options. And now we've got tap to speak. Kent, if you want to mute yourself and mute your computer speakers, I'm going to let you speak and we'll get a recording going over here. Now, this is also spinning because it's telling him it's now your turn to speak. Please mute your computer. Because, there we go.
Yep, so this is Kent Boring. Can you hear me? Hear me? Test 1, 2. I'd like to speak about all the things that CAPMetro is doing so well in life. You guys are just killing it. And go ahead and take that down, put it on the agenda, make sure everybody hears that comment specifically. And that's all I've got to say. I'll go ahead and drop now.
All right, bye, Kent. So also, if somebody's being ugly on the line, you can mute them in a hurry. But you're going to see transcribing. If ever it gets stuck on transcribing, that just means it was inaudible, or it's a message that's less than 2 seconds. That means there was probably little to nothing to hear on the line. But within a few seconds, we're going to see Kent's full transcription and anything that was said while his line was open. Once it's done transcribing as well, I mentioned you can play it back, so we can actually play it back. And if we decide that that recording is garbled or otherwise kind of a messy audio file, hard to hear, you can stop playback. Maybe there's a screeching owl in the background, I don't know, but you can stop it quickly if you choose to. Bye, Dennis. Here we go. So it transcribed his message. If I realize, yeah, said Camp Boring instead of Kent, I can change that to Kent because I know his name.
Nice.
If it spells council versus council wrong, any of those things, you can edit it. We obviously want to make sure we're not editing their comment for content. Just, you know, if the machine doesn't understand human words, which it happens on occasion. So you've got that.
Website.
I'm sorry?
And that's appearing in the comment box as well on the page.
If we've turned it on.
Cool.
So yeah, so we've got it turned on to show recorded comments. And actually this was a live comment. So yeah, it's happening live. When I'm ready to end this meeting, I can show you, it's gonna give us a transcript. And so the really cool thing with the transcript, it's gonna have a rundown down the left side of everything that's being said. And then on the right side, any other comments that come in by SMS, by email, if I emailed that email j476@publicinput.com, or these comments made live, they're gonna pop up on the right-hand side exactly at the timeline that they happen. And I can show you guys that if anybody's hanging around for a moment. Also, I can play this back right now.
Yep, so this is Kent Boring. Can you hear me?
And I stopped it just for time's sake, but that does work that way. All of these comments too are going to show up on your comments tab for you to analyze later.
Yeah, I guess we need to decide internally if we want to broadcast to YouTube. It sounded like you can only do closed captioning if it's broadcasting to your YouTube versus ours.
Right. Again, that's in beta. We haven't even released that as a feature yet. So it's not secret, but it's kind of secret. So just FYI, we'll probably roll out even more options for that. But as of right now, it works with Public Input's YouTube.
And then you can't really do translation services live. Like we'd have to actually move those people into the Zoom meeting for that.
I think you can do translations live with closed captioning, again, through our YouTube. You can start multiple different closed captions, if that makes sense. You can have a few threads going on at the same time, but we definitely offer translation with the transcript. So if I go ahead and end this meeting, which I'm gonna do. Where is it?
No, I just meant it during live broadcast. We've been paying for closed captioning and translation live.
Right, closed captioning. Oop. Right, yeah, it should be multiple language. Again, there's a lot to roll out with this update. We'll know more in the next week or two.
Okay.
But yeah, that's really, really close to being ready. And if improvements happen, we'll keep you posted, whether that means you can now do it on your YouTube account as well. We'll be sure to update you as that rolls out.
Okay.
It was a pretty cool feature though, Lonnie. I mean, we saw our CEO basically demo that, and it was at least early functionality was like live on the fly closed captioning translation.
Yeah, it had very, very little lag.
It was impressive. Like he was speaking and it was CCing it in English and then literally clicked the button and CC'd it into Spanish.
It would be amazing if we were able to do closed captioning in multiple languages.
Well,
I mean, it was
But
phenomenal.
we're spending about, $300 to $1,200 a meeting just in closed captioning and
Sweet.
translation.
Well, you could just redirect that to, I'm kidding.
well, we've got a whole article about why all the translation services that are automatic that exist at this moment are not as good, because Facebook only does English for closed captioning.
Yeah, that's right.
Zoom only does a couple things. WebEx only does a couple things. And then one of the options doesn't do it at all. I can't recall. But with our closed captioning, you're going to be able to add words in there that are constantly misspelled or misheard. Like one of the things we have is like NEPA regulation, but it doesn't know how to spell that. So if we add those approved words that we're constantly talking about, whether that's a street name or a local neighborhood or whatever that is, it's going to know those words and spell them correctly and translate them better as well.
Cool.
So I'm waiting on my transcript. Usually it doesn't take more than 15 minutes. If that pops up, I will show you what that looks like. Is it there? It's still working. So I can find an example of that if you like, but this transcript, when it's ready, will be ready quickly. It's going to give you the audio file as well as the transcribed version. And then it's going to email you when that's ready. Again, usually pretty quick. If it's a really long meeting, you'll have it by the next morning at the latest. But if I pop into one of our public input projects, I can find one that's already done for you.
Well, this was really helpful. At least now Brandon and I know what we did wrong.
Yeah, I hope that cleared it up for you. I tried to help Brandon on chat, so I'm sorry I missed you. We may not have been quite as quick on the draw. We lost you after a couple.
I did have one more question, and I'm going to assume no. We've been using breakout rooms a bunch. I'm guessing there isn't really a way to broadcast breakout groups, that we still need to do those within Zoom.
You're right. We do not have a way to do breakout rooms. The best we could offer is being able to do simultaneous meetings at the same time, but it would be the same setup. So you'd essentially be running however many breakout room Zooms and then pushing them to public input, which I know doesn't sound fun. So if we can work with you, if we can help you plan that in any way, let us know. But yeah, breakout rooms as they currently work. And same with WebEx webinar, I believe. Anywhere you've got like a panelist and then the regular people, we don't currently integrate with that.
No, that's totally okay. Your system would allow us to back off of our Zoom webinar.
Sure.
And just use meetings.
Right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I definitely have an example of this. I'll get to it as quick as I can. Let me find this project. And excuse me, you guys don't have this screen, so you don't need to worry about it, but this is all of our bins that we have, so don't focus too much there. All right, here we go. I think I have it. No. Whatever, we've got to have a meeting. Let's see if yours is ready again. Okay, there it is. I'll do yours. Wonderful. So that was pretty quick. Yeah, under 4 minutes for this one. So now you can see if anything is muddled, if I can't hear or understand anything, I've got the audio right here. I can play it back and check it with the timestamp, make sure that these words match up with what that person said. I can make this public on the meetings live site. So there's a record of my transcript. I can also click share or copy and paste this link, and that's going to take me to the public version of this transcript. If I click it, I'm going to show you that allows me to translate the whole thing. Where'd it go? I'm so sorry, guys. I have the presenter mode sticking up in my way. Get out of here. There we go. Here we go. So there's my meeting transcript. I can choose translate and pick a language. I can play back each speaker's a little moments here. But then if I go back, I can also change this. So I know this was the Zoom automated voice speaking. So I'm going to write Zoom and save. So that first speaker is Zoom. This second person, let's see, speaker 2. I don't know. I think this is Kent. I could play it back and figure it out, but just for time's sake, we're not going to do that. So if I want to go back and make all of speaker 2 Kent, I can click save. Now I can see, that may not have worked because I did it wrong the first time. So now Kent is all of speaker 2. If I know speaker 3 is the mayor or Lonnie, I can update that and apply all occurrences of this person speaking over and over to that one person. Not only that, but I could remove stuff that maybe was me talking about how much I enjoyed queso at the beginning of the meeting because that's what somebody brought me for lunch. I have had that happen. I can also edit. So again, if you've got a spelling error or an issue that it didn't pick up exactly right, you can edit this chat. And now if you're seeing it, we're going to scroll down and it's basically like a timeline. So we're seeing this test comment come in as well as this one. We're also going to see Kent's verbal comment that came in. It's going to show you the microphone where it was set aloud in the speaker queue. This one was via SMS. So somebody texted that one in for us. And yeah, that's about the gist of what we have here. But of course, in a longer meeting, you're going to see more of those chats as they came in, time-stamped wherever they came in. And you can download the whole thing here if you like. I know we went a little bit over. Do I have any more questions? I think I've got a few chats. Let me check that out.
It was pretty helpful, actually,
Awesome.
reinforcing some of our understanding. And I'll get with Brandon a little bit about naming conventions just to make our lives easier. We still have the issue of needing more form fields. It's still a little messy, murky about how to do field research. I mean, we could use a survey, I suppose, and then dump it into the CRM afterwards.
Yeah, I would definitely use this survey because our reports, if you haven't used them, are another really, really awesome feature that sums up everything and makes automated graphs for you. You've also got some graph choices like, do I want a pie graph, bar graph, or word comment, bubble cloud? You've got a lot of different options there. We can definitely go more into that if you want to learn more. We've got some really great articles on those as well.
And it sounds like if we did the survey and we pulled the information in and we knew the address, it would match the record anyway.
Right.
Okay, so that's probably how we'll do field outreach.
Yeah. And we also have manual data entry, which I know is not fun, but if you ever did happen to need paper surveys or put a pile of them out at a public place, you could manually enter them as well as if you are that participant. And if they provide their information, you'll have it, you'll be able to enter it into the fields that are correct for that individual.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Best way always is to just create the survey. It makes it so much easier for data collection. And once you get everything together, you can download a CSV of everything from comments, emails, tags you created, everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking the time. I know it's a lot to cover in a very short period of time.
Yeah, sorry we had to blow through it. We'll definitely be able to walk you through whenever you're ready to host your first real meeting. I think we ask for about 3 days before you're ready if you want us to do a dry run with you. Just give us a 3-day heads up. And then we'll make sure you're really, really prepared for the real deal whenever that's coming up. So we can definitely use consulting hours or schedule some time for a dry run to see how it's going to go and have everybody kind of practice who's going to do what role.
Okay, I appreciate that. We're most likely going to take you up on that in late July.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You can organize that with Kent, but if he's got to loop me in or help you out with that, we'll both be available.
All right.
Yeah, we'll get it figured out. Great to have everybody in. I hope this is really helpful. I hope, Lonnie, a lot of the questions got answered in this meeting that you were looking at, but certainly feel free to hit me back in for other things. Amanda, we will have a recording of this meeting, and so we can ship that over to your team. I don't have contact. I'll have to look in the back end of public input and pull maybe some contact info. I only have contact info for Jessica at this point. She's been kind of playing that gatekeeper. Is that the best way to do things, Lonnie? Or do you just kind of tag everybody at the same time, or what's easiest?
We've got all the admins.
Yeah, we can just send it to all the admins if that's helpful.
Yeah, that would help. I can distribute it to everybody who came to this meeting.
Okay, great.
I just put my email in the chat.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll do that. Amanda's got also some great supplemental info. Once you're in the back end of public input, you've got that knowledge base as well. There's articles there too.
Yeah.
And so
I feel pretty good about things. It was mostly just that Brandon and I were in, well, just the form field updates. And then Brandon and I were in there being like, oh, we'll just broadcast this Zoom. And when it didn't work, we're like, maybe we don't get it. So you really helped with the YouTube thing today.
Yeah, I think you guys got most of the way there, but yeah, practice makes perfect. And we know it can be a lot to put all the pieces together the first couple of times. So reach out if you need us. We'll definitely be able to guide you through chat. And if you want, a more hands-on experience with us there to back you up, that dry run would be great to schedule next.
And then just to make clear, right now, if we do nothing, it already is linked to Public Input's YouTube, right?
You don't have to do anything, correct? But it's just a slightly different way to put that in, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right.
Am I still, is this me sharing the screen or someone else?
that was me.
That's okay. I didn't know what I was sharing. Perfect. Yeah, so it's a slightly different option. Just for that, that screenshot I shared with you guys was when you click more, you would go to live streaming option.